Hello, family, and welcome to Kami Ideas. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you receive notifications whenever I upload a new video. In today's video, I have with me here my husband, Mr. Michael, and then we are together coming to discuss a very interesting topic about nurses. Okay, today. So we'll be talking about nurses and our relationship lives. Okay. Day in day out, we do hear a lot of information about nursing profession, how is the relationship, their marriages, and today as two health workers who are married, we want to be discussing with you. You can leave your opinion, your suggestions too in the comment box. So we'll be asking you a lot of questions today. Okay, as pertaining to relationship. And then, when we talk about relationship in terms of the nursing field, the more of the negative things are always attributed to with the female nurses. So we are grateful that you are on the channel today to help us address some of these myths or perceptions about nurses and our relationship lives. So thank you so much for, this man is very difficult to fetch him over. Thank God he's here. First thing I want to talk about today is about the myth or the perception that female nurses do not respect. Due to that, men are afraid to approach us, and because we feel just like people are having the perception that nurses are well paid, so female nurses tend to feel that because we have the money, we are well paid. I don't even know this amount of money because we think we are working and we can provide whatever we want. We don't respect men, and therefore we do not get good relationships because of that. So, as a male nurse in the facility, what do you have to say about this thing?
All right. Just like you said, it's a perception.
Okay.
Straightforward, I would say it's actually a perception in the sense that I relate with them every day because I work hand in hand with female nurses in the hospital.
Okay.
And I can say that female nurses are the most respectful people you can also find in this planet Earth, in the sense that it takes respect and humility, love, and passion to be able to take care of someone who cannot take care of himself or herself.
Okay.
Yes, if you don't have that respect and passion for love, imagine someone coming to your facility, the person cannot bath himself or herself, the person cannot eat himself or herself, or the person can virtually do nothing, and it has to take you, the nurse, to be able to do all those things. It takes someone with a good heart, someone with respect and then passion to be able to do that. And with regards to whether nurses are well paid, and that is the reason why the female nurses are not respectful, I wouldn't say their salary is that bad,
Okay.
but I don't want to go along that line. I wouldn't say because of that they are not respectful or people are saying they're not respectful. I think respect is relative.
Okay.
And in every institution in Ghana, you have certain people with their attitudinal problems.
Okay.
And maybe you happen to meet someone at the wrong hour and the person disrespect you, and you conclude or you generalize that female nurses are not respectful. But based on my own experience and with my years of working in the facility, I think female nurses are very respectful.
Wow.
They are very, very respectful. And then if you find one as a wife like I am today, I can say you are blessed. Yes.
Wow. You've said everything,
Yeah.
but just like you said, some people is attitudinal like issues.
Mm.
Someone naturally doesn't respect. That's the person's nature. And so when the person happens to find herself in the nursing profession, and because of the myths that we don't respect, they just conclude that that's how everybody is.
Is
So that means that some, in terms of respect, it's relative.
it's
Somebody
relative.
can be disrespectful in a natural way.
Yeah.
There are professions that pay even better than nursing professions. So I don't think that should be a reason why you will not respect a man because you feel you have everything that you want. And the second point or perception people have about nursing and their relationship life is that people have the perception or it is believed that nurses are money conscious, especially with the female nurses. Because you come to the facility and we sell things to you, impose things on you, and even asking clients for money and a whole lot. So people feel that men especially feel that if you want to be in a relationship with a female nurse, you should be someone who is earning so much so that you can meet their financial needs. And I think this is not true, because for me, I wouldn't just be like, I would say because of like money should determine how I should love somebody. Okay. And I don't know, like, what do you have to say about that? Is it only nurses who love money? Or is it that perception that because we love money, that's why men are not approaching us, because they feel that they cannot meet our needs? What do you have to say about that one too?
What I would like to say is, I think everybody love money. Everybody wants to be comfortable in life, and every day we're hustling in Ghana because we want to make it big so that we can be comfortable.
Okay.
And so it's a perception that nurses love money, especially female nurses love money.
Okay.
I don't think so. And some are saying that before you can date a nurse, then you should be able to earn double what they are earning so that you can be able to maintain them.
Okay.
I don't think that's the truth, because nurses are just like every other human being
Okay.
that wants to make life comfortable for themselves. When I met my wife and we started dating, I can boldly say she was not placing demands on me or making life so difficult for me to date or for our relationship to work. She was one of the simplest person I can ever boast of, and I thank God for her life, for trusting and believing in me all this while. And so I wouldn't say nurses love money. You yourself, you love money and you want to make it in life.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so it's just like a perception, but that's not the truth. Nurses are, in fact, I will say this again, that they are the most simplest and then simplest human beings you can ever find on the planet Earth. There's no institution without people having a particular perception about them in
Okay.
Ghana. When you talk of the nursing profession, the teachers, the bankers, the lawyers, the name it, the police or the military, all of them, people have a particular perception about them. So it's
Okay.
just a growing perception going on in the country. But nurses are not stingy.
Okay.
They are not stingy, like people are saying. I think it's a personality kind of a thing. It's an
Okay.
individual kind of a thing, but not like you generalize it. No. There are certain times someone will come and cannot pay the hospital bill, and nurses will contribute to pay for the person.
Oh,
Some
serious.
people will come, they can't even feed themselves. Their family will bring them on admission and run away, and they're not coming. And it has to
They
take
will even be discharged and still be in the
in
ward
the ward.
just because they don't have
And I
money to pay
see a
for.
lot of my colleague female staff who will go home and prepare food and bring it in the evening to feed certain patients who their families have abandoned them.
Hmm.
So if you say nurses are stingy, I think it is a big lie. I think it's just your perception. I wouldn't say it's a big lie because that is your experiences.
Yeah.
But it's not the truth. Yeah.
And that moves us to the next point, which is people have the perception that nurses do not have time for their partners. So if you marry a nurse or if you date a nurse, you won't have time. The person will not be having time for their partner. They'll always be in the ward working 24/7, and you have to come home. Like, you'll be doing most of the things by yourself. So people have that mentality and perception that nurses do not have time. And I don't know, like, I don't know what time they mean, because we work in shifts. We go for morning shift, and then you work for maybe 6 to 7 hours, maximum 7 hours. You leave the ward, you hand over to afternoon shift, and then they will also work 6 to 7 hours, hand over to night shift. So if you go for morning shift, you have the whole of the afternoon to the night. So maybe the following day you might even be going for an afternoon shift. So I don't know, in terms of time, how would somebody say nurses do not have time for their partners?
I
What do you have
think
to say?
people have this growing perception because
Okay.
of the way the nation started in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, when it started, a lot of people do not want to go into that fraternity or that field.
Okay.
So the nursing recruitment in the early 80s were kind of very slow. We didn't have a lot of nurses
Okay.
in the system. And so one can go in the morning shift and would have to work through the whole day
Mm-hmm.
and come home. And even you being in the house is not guaranteed. They can call you
Wow.
to come back because they need more hands on what is probably happening at that time.
Okay.
And so at those days, nurses used not to have a lot of time for
Wow.
themselves. Someone can even go in the morning and will come back the following day.
Hey.
Yes, because there were no enough staff to
Okay.
take over so that some can come home and rest. But it's not the same today. Today
Okay.
we have a lot of nurses. You can go to a particular ward and you have more than 20 staff in that particular ward
Yeah.
changing shift.
Oh,
And so that perception has to stop, because now we having a lot of staff.
okay.
Imagine you go now, because of that we are now running shift. If I go in the morning, let's say 6 a.m., by 12:30 thereabout I should close. Or if I go
Yeah.
7, by 1 I should be in the house. And so the whole day is for myself. Or even if I go in the afternoon by 1, by 7 I will be in the house. And
Okay.
there are some other departments in the country like bankers who will go 8 o'clock, and then by 9 or 10 they are still on their way coming home. So I would that perception has to change now. And even if you are married to a colleague nurse and you are in the same facility, there's no way they'll put the two of you on night duty, because people always say because we are running night we don't have time. My wife and I, if we are in the same facility, one the hospital makes sure that once I am the husband and I'm running night, my wife stays at home and probably
Okay.
come to work the following morning.
Yeah.
And by then I'll be in the house and I can always go to take children from school.
Yeah, and sorry to cut you. And one thing people should know about Ghana Health Service is that they are so lenient in
Yeah.
terms of staff.
Mm.
Ghana's Health Service is not that kind of, or CHAG, whichever organization you
Yeah.
find yourself. Let me just say the health
The
system.
health system.
They are not so wicked that they will say, "Oh, but you are married, you are here to work, not for family." No, they are concerned with our family lives
They
too.
also factor
Because
family life into it.
yeah, they believe in mental health of workers.
Yeah.
They won't give you shift that they know very well you are married, you have kids, or you are managing a family, and they are giving you horrible shift. It's not like that. The Ghana Health Service, we are health workers, so we believe in how mental issues of people. Because if it happens to be that because you are married, they will say that, oh, we are here to work. We knew the nature of the work and we got married, so we must run whatever shift they give us. Mentally, you will not be sound, okay, to work with happiness. So Ghana Health Service is not that organization that would say that we are. In fact, Ghana, we are concerned with the health of the health workers and the patient as a whole.
As for now, it's an old perception that people are still running with. But for now,
Okay.
I think the system is more flexible with regards that we have a lot of nurses now being trained every day, and the government is doing well employing a lot of nurses. So the
Yeah.
system has changed. It's no longer how it used to be in the early
Okay.
80s.
One more thing I want to add is about in terms of saying your partner do not have time for you. There are people who are not even health workers, and we do hear relationship like issues saying that the girls are always complaining that the men do not make time for them, and we hear these issues almost every
Yeah,
time on
yeah.
social media. Even personally, we have people, friends who will tell you that my partner do not have time for me, and they are not nurses.
Mhm.
So that one, I think that it depends on who you are in relationship
In
or
relationship
married
with
to.
yeah.
Yes, because if you are into a relationship and the person understands the nature of your work, just like we do, sometimes you know that I'm running night shift, so you know that definitely I won't be running nights and we're making long calls in the night. You know that I'm running nights, so we understand one another that okay, morning shift by 1:30 to 2, I'll be home. So it's about understanding. Your partner should be able to understand what you do and your work schedule. Okay, so it's not just about that perception. It's not about the nursing fraternity. I think it cuts across all. So it's about having a partner who understands you and what you do. Yeah. So it's a perception, and we are married, and we have time for one another. And it's not just because you are newly married, though. We be having like that's what we'll be discussing a lot in this.
And before we got married, we dated before.
Yes.
We dated before, and
And then we're talking about it in subsequent videos.
yeah.
Okay, so we have a lot of videos upcoming. So,
And interesting ones.
interesting ones as
Yeah.
well. And that brings us to our last point we want to discuss with you, which is the perception that nurses do not make good marriages. In fact, what we do here is that nurses, most of them are born one, just like we always say. They marry today, divorce tomorrow. They most of them are having kids without mothers, single mothers and single fathers. And I don't know this thing. What should it always be about the nursing fraternity? Because there are people that day in day out we hear about relationship problems. They are married today, divorce tomorrow, single mothers and single fathers. Is it just about the nursing fraternity? So these are some of the perceptions people hear. And as a man, okay, as a male nurse, we are in facilities and we know what's going on. I don't know people you've seen that they've been married for so many years as nurses and they are still staying married. Or like, what do you have to say about that perception that uh, nurses do not make good marriages? It's either they are born, they give birth to one or two children, they divorce, or they don't marry at all. They like to be in relationship, just like in a relationship, give birth and they are good to go.
Yeah, one thing I want us to know is that nurses are just humans like
Okay.
every other human beings. It's
Okay.
not like there are there are some special human beings being selected into the nursing fraternity. They
Okay.
are everyday human beings in our society. And so for the fact that or the perceptions that nurses do not make good marriage, I wouldn't say it's a lie, but that is what someone think.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
But
someone's idea or
that's from
opinion.
someone's opinion, and everyone is entitled to his or her opinion.
Okay.
But marriage in itself, there are a lot that goes into it.
Okay.
Yes, there are a lot that goes into it. I'm not just a nurse, but I'm also into the ministry.
Okay.
And then we encounter a lot of people that get married today and get divorced tomorrow. And most of them, like I say, are not nurses.
Yeah.
And to your question, I see a lot of nurses who got married at the early part of their life. They stayed together with their husbands and wife,
Okay.
and they even went on retirement and they are still together. And so we also have certain field or certain areas or institutions that people get married and also get divorced. So divorce is everywhere. It's not only in the nursing fraternity. Yes. And I would say nurses are they do well when it comes to marriage. They do well.
Okay.
So if you want your marriage to work, it depends on the two of you. Marriage is work. And so when you get married, you have to determine to make it work. The two of
Okay.
you have to come together and say, okay, we must let this thing work. We must love each other. And then we must put our hands together and pray to God, sacrifice, let certain things go. Anything that you sense it has a tendency of bringing divorce in your marriage or separation, then you put it aside.
Yeah.
Yes, this is an individual affair. It has nothing to do with a particular institution. Yes.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't have that perception that nurses do not do well in marriage. Even Christians, that God is the founder of marriage, Christians do get divorced. So it's not about nurses.
Yeah.
It can be anybody. It can affect anyone. So the nurses are some kind of human beings. When you find one to marry as a husband or wife, you are blessed.
We've been hearing a lot of messages, reading books about marriages and things, and it has got nothing to do with what you do.
What you do, yeah.
Okay, marriage is something that you shouldn't your work. You shouldn't place priority of your work over your marriage. Okay, so you make time and just pray for a good partner, someone who it's just about understanding and the decision and the determination to make it work.
Yeah.
Or to stay together.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's just about the nurse. And some people, you'll be surprised to say that sometimes, like as a female nurse, you meet somebody who will be like, hey, I just want to marry a nurse. Nurses are good and things like that. Some other people will tell you nurses don't make good marriages and all that. So this is what we have to share with you today, okay? And we hope and we believe that what we shared, maybe what some of the perceptions you've been having, some of them you have to drop it to and then be looking forward to seeing you in subsequent videos. This man here has a lot in him. Now I want to drill it out of him all, okay, to bless us all. So stay blessed and then stay subscribed to Kami Ideas. We have a lot more for you in the coming days.
Yeah.
The sun is over reflecting. What do you see?
No, I think it's the fowls. Fowls are disturbing today.
They are disturbing today.
Yeah.
We'll use them for Christmas.
I think lives you like